The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes. In my estimation, some £200. That's all my own money. So what does this large sum of money reveal? Not as much as the involuntary glance of cast, it seems. And it's right here! Nope. She definitely looked in this direction, it's true.
But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxwork even for £200.
Oh?
She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax? If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything.
The man broke the wax.
For that much money, I would. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway. I wonder if the £200 could have some other significance.
Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it.
Probably the portly man.
Or that.
The note on the wall, where the boys can see it all.
What's that net doing pinned on the wall there?
Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madame Two Spells, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is £200. Have the money ready by noon on 23rd of October.
That's next month!
This is... It's just like the sort of thing that's left behind when someone is kidnapped.
Yes, it's a ransom note!
Exactly.
Take that!
Spin, spin, spin. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so, and we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness abducting waxwork. £200 is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it.
The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have.
In summary then, the £200 you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor?
I don't know.
It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, madame, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the £200. So if the waxwork was kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of who this man is? We could just ask him when he comes round. I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris. Don't question the process, Iris. We have a system in place.
Iris, we don't need
Yes, you're right. Your Hurley's trying so hard, and we mustn't let him down. We have to let him do his little.
Iris, we don't need your logic.
I have deductions. Well, there's little doubt he has suffered a shock. That much seems clear. But in that case, what's Madame Two Spells trying to hide? Let's have a closer look around. Her body. What? Her hand is ginormous. What the fuck?
She has the wax hand.
Oh. Her hair is so pretty. Madame Two Spells has very long hair, doesn't she?
Yes, but you couldn't tell looking at her from the front.
You know, it looks rather like a whip, don't you think? The sort of whip that could have floored the gentleman with a single crack.
That seems a little far-fetched even for you, Bruno.
It's a big old hand.
This is just Madame Two Spells' right hand, isn't it?
Yes, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand, after all.
Oh, but wait a minute. This is a left hand as well. She's got 2 left hands!
Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please.
And it seems very stiff too. In fact, it's really hard.
I like to imagine we're just frozen in time and she's just, like, poking it. You mean it's made of wax? What does she have on her belt there? Are those knives? Hold on, what's the 4th wall look like? I see. Nothing of interest over there. The Hand of God. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand. Indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow.
How could you?
The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be a right hand, but closer inspection reveals that, in fact, it's a left hand. And
It also does not match your skin tone.
And somewhat masculine as well. Are we not going to talk about how big it is? In other words, it does not belong to you, madam. It is the hand of a waxwork model.
Kia!
Oh my god!
Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage.
So you mean that arm?
Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir.
No small keepsake. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view the blossoms.
I'm afraid I had to teach the man a lesson.
You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. And the result is the scene we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later, but for the time being we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit has been kidnapped.
I should cut this video. Just for you.
Naruto-san? Yeah. The question that arises then is what happened to the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider that problem for a moment.
You cannot possibly...
What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief. According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is a sign to other policemen that some crime is underway.
Wave communicating with his colleagues about revealing his identity, yes? It's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard.
That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away.
Well, uncovering secrets is in a true detective's nature, of course.
Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Two-Spell's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' reduction, I don't think that was it.
He's missing an arm.
What the? The man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder where his arm should be.
Well, that settles that then.
Right, this isn't a real person at all.
His entire arm's been ripped off, from the shoulder down.
His arm's been... Of course, that ties in with what we just found.
Take that!
The stub. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his shoulder stub. or his nipple. No such boneless human walks this earth, of that I can assure you. But when you're with me, Mr. Naruto, I'll give you an extra bone. What?
Just suck on.
In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact, defying all odds, a waxwork model. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes. Shut up!
He has become quite a celebrity in London, being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man.
Naturally! What other explanation could there be? And that is exactly why you don't have one of me yet. And it was this detective's...
You haven't won any rewards?
And it was this detective's arms that was pulled off by the man on the floor in this special exhibit, wasn't it? Next, we turn attention to the old man sat before him, with the particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely, and he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork.
But you...
Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madame. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe! The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag. A killer policeman called Otter Mole, was it? Was he well known?
He was all over the papers last year, Reno! Can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price, though. Threepence isn't much money.
Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Garrett's delightful lodgings, in fact. So this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds? Is this crusty old killer policeman Ottermole? Really?
Perhaps we should have a good look around again and see if another idea crops up.
Maybe the price tag's for the scarf? 3 pence? It's a far cry from 200 pounds, isn't it?
For threepence you could buy and put it on display in your room, Reno.
I think I'd rather not go to sleep being watched by an old man, if that's all the same to you.
But Mr. Sholmes always comes into your room before or after you fall asleep and watches you then.
He does what now?
What?
I mean, you couldn't even buy the helmet on his head for that much money, I didn't think.
I wonder what the price tag's really for, then. Wait a second. Look at this! The old man's tapping his foot like crazy!
He seems to be fast asleep, though.
He's not tapping his foot consciously, then? So you mean...
It must be a Twitch!
Not streaming on Twitch! Side by side, please! Guess this is recording. Never mind that. The point is waxworks don't tap their feet. Or Twitch. Or stream. And look at his arm, too. We've seen a scarf like that somewhere else around here, haven't we?
Take that!
The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard.
Did his pecs jiggle, or was it the...
Meh. Slight shift in your choice of adjectives, then. And there you have it. Well, Madam Two Spells?
Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place. He is clearly fatigued. He is sound asleep.
But then what's this tag about, showing a price of 3 pence? No doubt the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at the local market. And I presume you've observed the scarf tied around his arm. Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruto? Yes, the secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway.
Of course. Because as you know, there has been just such criminal activity happening here. As you deduced from the very beginning, Detective.
That's right, I did it all on my own. Hooray, I'm so smart. So it would seem we finally arrive at the truth. I'm a kitty cat cat, and I dance dance dance. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. And Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remain a mystery. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle.
I changed clothes again.
So, there was an assault, and there's just a man.
A police officer just sitting there.
He's just sitting there.
Sleeping.
He's just there.
All sorts of people visit my museum here, men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in for just a short time on their way back from the pub. Sometimes they stay for the rest of their lives. But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway... Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had been led to believe.
It was a pleasure, my dear madame. I'm gratified that you enjoyed this spectacle.
50 cents. 50
That'll be 50 shilling. As for your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display. If it was genuinely indeed abducted...
Yes, tragically it was.
Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork. In as much detail as possible, if you please.
Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work.
The tools of a great detective could be meant to put to better use, I feel, but as you wish. Hold on. Nothing new there. He's not even twitching anymore. Do you make all these waxworks, Madame Two Spells?
I did. I'm the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know.
Golly!
It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. Though that is when she acquired the savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing lifelikeness. All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modelled, in the hours immediately following their executions. That is the secret, the odd, extraordinary lifelikeness.
That sounds terrifying.
All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see.
Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying?
Do not fear.
Sorry?
This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme.
Is it macabre? It's gotta be, because I know it's a French word, and the French just love just making every other syllable silent, so it's gotta be macabre.
I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians, something for every taste, I hope.
It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it.
Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things.
Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please.
It was some days ago now, when I came in here one morning. I immediately noticed that the waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here.
It is your most prominent display. That's why the curtains were closed. Captain?
And I found the matterhorns of note in its place.
Culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then.
So this waxwork that was stolen? It was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose.
What does this have to do with the Great Exhibition and fucking magic teleportation?
We find out
No,
that the person...
no. Shh, don't predict anything.
Okay.
Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor.
Not a name I've heard of. So, Mr. Naruto, it seems the circle is complete. Sorry.
The Professor case happened around the time I was born, didn't it?
Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time that Barrack Van Zeeks graduated from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying.
So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life?
As you've surmised, it was the Professor case. Who was this Professor, then? I better ask this random third party.
It was a series of gruesome murders that had all of London gripped in a terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death.
And now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy.
Well, not at the moment, no.
Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of the abduction. But I don't understand. How is all this related to Lord Van Zeeks? You must first understand, my dear fellow, why it is that the Professor earned such infamy. It was due to the victims he chose, some of Whitehall's finest.
What do you mean, Hurley?
Those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwaves through the country's administration. Members of the... wait, of course. What Professor Harebreen said. Lord Van Zeeks is from a family with noble blood.
Oh, golly!
It was the fixed victim that led to the Professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint Van Zeeks. No! That's impossible! What kind of stupid name is Clint? I don't believe it. Van Zeeks? I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barrack pursued a career as a prosecutor, and eventually became the Reaper we know today. I had no idea Lord Van Zeeks had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. Yeah. There's a work, so cookie sir.
I'm afraid that she'll have to excuse myself as well.
Oh yes, of course. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. So I guess we're just not going to talk to the old man that's asleep right now.
No.
He's probably going to be a witness. I guess that would make more sense. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Meh! It's been too long, it really has. I'm delighted to see you, Beric. Oh, hey, Pilot! You're playing Legends Arceus, I see. My deductions were quite correct. It's been 10 years, and here we are, meeting in a prison of all places. You don't even have the decency to look at me, Beric. I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Assman. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen. Tomorrow, the court will decide your fate. Yes, that's how court works. I have a young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. He hasn't lost a single case yet. It was an accident, a terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it. But I must warn you. No, not you. Shut up. I'm looking directly at the camera. Did you see my eyes shift towards the camera? That's really fucking creepy. Yes. Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're going to be prosecuting, aren't you? Yes. Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories. Beric, are you really? What? Never mind. I know that you have my best interests at heart. My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else. Wait, what? Ooh.
Is he gonna let us have this one?
Maybe. Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Beric. Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court. I hate to say this, but Varric Van Zeeks is much less interesting in this game than the first one. I kind of just enjoyed him being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. He had a part and he played it perfectly.
He's too nice now, and it kind of ruins his character.
Yeah, like, I don't even enjoy the voice anymore.
Nah.